Welcome to the Marvelous Middle Age Podcast, where we are building a community of people who are in the midst of midlife, sharing our stories and learning from each other along the way. Each week, I'll have a guest join me to discuss a topic that impacts our lives and touches on some aspect of midlife. We'll discuss relationships, transitions, health and well-being, parenting, careers, and more. My goal is to encourage and support you and help you thrive as you navigate this adventure of midlife. Join me here each week for the Marvelous Middle Age Podcast. This season is all about powerful perspectives, real stories, and fresh insights from incredible women who are thriving, growing, and redefining what it means to live fully in midlife. This week, I'm joined by Megan Knatz. Megan is a busy mom, wife, business owner, and animal lover, and she also happens to be my sister. In this episode, we talk about the holiday season with young adult and older children. The holidays can look a little different once your kids are grown. The house might be quieter, schedules harder to coordinate, and traditions may not fit quite the same way they used to. In this episode, we're talking about how to prepare for and celebrate the holidays with your young adult or older children in ways that still feel meaningful, connected, and fun. We'll explore how to start new traditions, hold on to the heart of family, and embrace this new season with joy and flexibility. Megan Knatz, welcome to the Marvelous Middle Age Podcast.
Thank you for having me back. I always love being part of this conversation, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I should have said welcome back. You've been on multiple times, many times.
I'm a frequent flyer on your podcast. So.
Yeah, because you're my sister. So, and I'm older and I can make you. No, I'm kidding.
Still boss me around to this day. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I was pretty bossy. So,
in a positive way, though, it wasn't ever mean or hurt. It was just like you had ideas on how you wanted the world to run, and I was like, sure, I'll do that. I'll do all the things. I was game. So
I'm still like that. I'm still a control freak. So it just goes to show that those things show up early in childhood and they carry through the rest of your life. You can't escape it. Well, I am so glad you are here. We are going to talk about a topic that I think is very timely, given the time of year that this episode is going to release will be coming up on the holidays. And whatever holidays you do or don't celebrate this time of year, I think can be challenging for a lot of people for a variety of different reasons. It can be health issues, it can be family issues, it can be lots of things, grief, loss. Some people just don't really enjoy the holiday season. That's not me. I enjoy the holiday season, but I know in the past I've experienced kind of these expectations that I have for the holidays, and they never quite seem to measure up. And so I have experienced, some of the letdown that I think that some people have around the holiday season. How do you feel about the holidays? What's your just general kind of feeling about the holidays?
I love the holiday. I mean, I love any holiday. I love celebrating. I love planning a party. I love activities. I want to pack in as much as I can. So I love it. I get very, very excited about it. I think the letdown for me comes when it's like I can't do all the things I want, or things don't work out, or if people aren't interested, and also just, again, maybe setting a bar too high, thinking, everything has to fall in line. I'm pretty laid back, though, as far as I don't have expectations of perfection. I just want a lot of different experiences and things like that. So I get really excited about it. And I was trying to analyze and think of like, what is it about the holidays that bring that feeling, and that, what are we all craving, right? What do we really want? And how does it look different too with older kids or older parents? And I just happened to be on, I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I literally saw a post that totally resonated. It just it's about the ritual. It's about the ritual of things that you've done in the past that's so comforting. It's not the thing, it's not the perfection of the thing, it's not the wow of the thing, but it's like, that's what we crave. The smells, the feelings, the going to the same house. And I saw this thing, I'll read it really quick, that I was like, this is it. This is it for me. That the things that like bring me joy. It said the most powerful rituals are the messy ones, the inside jokes, the weird toasts. You continually, or it said they build continuity through imperfection. Families that can ritualize chaos break, they don't break, they bend. And I'm like, yeah, that's like, it's not the thing, it's just the funny jokes or the funny movies you watch or the same things that you do. So keeping that in mind
Yeah.
as we head into this
Yeah.
holiday season, I'm like, that's what you're after. It's just kind of that ritual of togetherness and enjoying things together. That's what really makes it fun. So,
Yeah. No, when I think back to I definitely resonate with that. Going back to childhood, when I think about some of my best memories from childhood, it has to do with Christmas. It
hmm
has to do with waking up Christmas morning and, you know, the way all of that was done and then going out to grandma and grandpa's farm and
yeah.
having our magical Christmases out there as a family and things like that. And so I think it's even our family, our immediate family, the Christmases we had, or, when we had when our kids were little,
hmm
when the kids were younger and how magical that was. And I think there is something so comforting about that, or I think about Christmas mornings when, my son was small and how fun that was for him
Yeah.
to wake up on Christmas morning and see that Santa had been there. And we have videos of him coming out and being like, "Oh my goodness," and
hmm
all of that comfort and that tradition. There's so much to be said for that. And as our seasons of life change and the people in our life change and people pass away or there's new members of the family or whatever happens, I think some of that it can be challenging to find those comforting traditions when it comes to the holidays, whatever holidays you celebrate at this time of year. We were talking about our kids. Our kids are older. I have an 18-year-old son who lives with me and you know, his dad, my husband. We three of us together. You are kind of an empty nester at this point. So you have
hmm
also an 18-year-old son who's off away at college at the moment, and we'll be back for Christmas. He'll have a break, and then your daughter, my niece Ashton, is studying abroad and
Yeah.
24. So
Yeah.
she's really been, and has lived out of the house, and so it'll be a little different. She will be home for the holidays, which is yay. We're so happy.
Yay. So yeah, now you start to think about. Now the challenge is the consistency of the rituals we had has kind of been disrupted, right? So it's
Mhm.
not that not everybody's in the same location, schedules are different, and so you have to kind of, I guess, get over that or find a new ritual or just be happy with whatever it ends up looking like when you get together. And that's kind of what I'm fine with, is thinking about, okay, what is it going to look like when we get together? How is that different? And they're growing, they're changing, they're a lot older, they're adults. So what are the things that they want to participate in and that are going to be fun for them? And what maybe can we come up with some new rituals, some new things that we start doing? I think that's okay
Yeah.
too, to think about some different things. So you and I have been talking about what are the things that we would like to do with the family, and I've been talking to the kids too. What are the things that they think would be fun to do, and really getting excited and just literally having them both here in the house. I think I'll have them both here for a couple of weeks. Is so exciting
Yeah,
to me, so I'm just
exactly.
really pumped to have them both home. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we think about our kids, they're growing into young adults and holidays look different for all the reasons you just, said. And there's people out there that have kids who are still living with them, not living with them. They might have adult children who now have partners, might be married, might even have grandchildren in the equation. It's all different, right? Starts to look different. You've got, especially if your child has a partner, that partner has a family, right? Depending on how they celebrate the holidays, you've got competing schedules. You're competing for time and people to be with you at the holidays. So how can we as families navigate those changes, do you think, while keeping the season meaningful and fun? What are some things
Yeah.
that we can do? I mean, I've got some ideas. One, I was talking with someone the other day about how you might have to try to kind of hold some things kind of loosely, some traditions more loosely than you
Mhm.
maybe have in the past, and invite your adult children into those new or different traditions, and you kind of have to let them choose what they want to participate in and what they don't, and you have to kind of have this expectation that they're not probably going to choose everything, but
Yeah.
to celebrate what they do want to be a part of or how often they do want to be involved with things, that you can't have this expectation that they're going to be at everything. Or, we want to have, say it's Christmas, right? We want to have Christmas at, noon on Christmas Day, and that's the only option, right? Well, what if they have a partner that has the same kind of situation? How do you be flexible and hold your plans loosely while still creating traditions in your own family? I don't know. That's just something someone shared with me that you have to start to kind of do a little bit, which,
Yeah, 100%. I keep thinking about, first of all, yeah, I agree. Inviting them into the conversation. So I've said to the kids, what are the things that you want to do? What would be meaningful to you at Christmas this year? And whether we end up holding that on as a tradition, great. And if we don't, that's okay too. Um, we've also used Christmas as a time to have new experiences together recently, just knowing that, again, while tradition is amazing and it's meaningful, we've used it to have new traditions. Like last year, we went on a snowmobile ride in Yellowstone National. I think it was last year, or was it 2 years ago? I don't remember now, but I think it was
I think it
last
was
year.
2 years ago because
2 years
Ashley
ago.
was
Okay.
home. Yeah, she was home this.
Yeah, she was home for so that was a Christmas day. We just totally did something different, and it's one of the most meaningful things we ever did together as a family, and we still talk about it. So I think inviting new, opportunity, inviting them into the conversation, because there may be things that they just don't want to participate in anymore, or if for whatever reason it just doesn't work out. They have a partner, they have children, that timing. I agree with being open and flexible. If you're rigid about the day, the time, the event, it's just gonna make it not fun, anymore. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be a time of being together. And I also think, letting go of the perfection of what it's supposed to look like. What is it supposed to look like if we're going to go out and look at Christmas lights together, or if we're going to go, it doesn't have to, it can be 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be 5 hours, I mean, so I think kind of losing some of that, rigidity with scheduling and being flexible, and know that, it's just the time being together. It doesn't matter the day or the activity, but it's been fun actually asking my kids, like, what do you want to do? Like, what would be meaningful to you, and getting their opinion, which has
Yeah.
been fun, and they're getting really excited about it too.
Yeah, I think we have to figure out ways to meet them where they are, like you
Mhm.
said, and not have things like we have ideas in our head of what we would like to see, but when your kids are older, you lose a little bit of that. You can't tell them when to be somewhere, where to be, right? They have some, autonomy in that. They have some agency in how they want to spend their time while they're home, whether it's, visiting from college or visiting, you at this time of year because they live somewhere else or whatever the case may be. And, there's, I think, I don't know if you've are experiencing this or have experienced it. I think there is a little bit of grief there that I think it's okay
Oh, yeah.
to
Hmm.
feel that, because you're looking back at years past or old traditions that aren't, available to you anymore or whatever. And I think it's okay to grieve that a little bit, but you just don't want to get stuck there. You don't want that to be the overwhelming feeling that you have. You want to say, okay, we can't do this anymore. They don't want to do that anymore. What's something else that they might want to do or might be more interested in this stage of their lives? And let's try to make that happen. Let's try to see if there are things we can do to, like you said, maybe start new traditions or just have a new experience that's completely alone and isolated on its own merits too. So I think it's just a way to start maybe some new, and again, they don't have to be traditions, but just some new things, that experiences that we can have at this time with our older children.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So what are some of the things, if you had to pick on your bucket list of Christmas extravaganza? We have
I
discussed
have an
kind of
unrealistic
making this.
expectation of the holidays, so I'm not a good
As we're
person to ask because
saying,
I want to
I
ride in a horse-drawn sleigh through the
know you
snow with
do.
a hot like a thermos of hot chocolate with a blanket tucked around me and sleigh bells ringing and
I know you
Christmas
do.
music playing from somewhere magical, even though I'm
Just the
out in a
heavens, just
horse-drawn, like,
a
I
wee
have
deck.
completely unrealistic expectations, so that's been one thing I've been really trying to get to, but no, I mean, I think I want the connection, right, with people, at the holidays. So for me, I mean, obviously one of the things that I really want to do, and for me, because I'm a person of faith, I want to go to our Christmas Eve church service. That's always really
Mhm.
special to me. That's always something I want to do. I would love to do like a Christmas movie marathon. I'm a huge lover of Christmas movies.
Mhm.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and A Christmas Story are two of my favorites. We actually got to meet Chevy Chase last year and Peter Billingsley last year,
Hey.
which was super cool. My son is also a huge fan of those movies. So those are things that I like. I would love to do like a Christmas movie marathon and get like snacks and get in our jammies and sit around the TV and watch. I mean, Elf, all the Christmas movies,
Yeah. Oh,
Grinch,
yeah.
like all of it. I want to watch all the Christmas movies and eat all the snacks and all the junk food. And, that's something that I would want to do. What about you?
Oh gosh, well, those things are all yeses for me as well. I've been thinking about this year. I wanted to do like a baking and like a game day. I love playing
Mhm.
games. So I thought maybe we could combine the two. And we've talked about having some friends, including some friends and family, and everybody bring a recipe and we bake. And then we divide up the goodies and
Yeah,
take them home. And then we can play some games in between because I love doing games.
I
So that'll
hate
be a lot
games.
of
I
fun.
don't like games. So I'll just sit and eat the food. I don't like games are hard for me because this is dumb, but I just like I don't like when people lose. I feel bad.
Oh,
Like, I
I
can't
do.
watch game shows or award shows because I feel bad for the person that doesn't
Oh,
win.
you
So,
do. I
I
mean, I don't like love it when people lose, but I don't feel bad for them.
but yeah, no, I like when we've gotten together, different events, like playing games, like I feel bad. So I don't, but it's not to say that I wouldn't. I would probably play, but
Sure, if we can keep it
weird, I
fun and
guess. But
lighthearted, and we're
um,
not. I mean, we're a competitive family, but we're not like
like
cutthroat.
cutthroat, like we're all gonna get in a big, huge
No,
fight about it. No,
yes,
no, no. That would be fun to have like a game day and then a
yeah. Just play some
baking
you can play
fun.
Uno or the game Left, Right, Center that we've
Yeah,
played.
those are
Like
fun.
games are always fun. We are a big Trivial Pursuit family as
Yeah,
well, so
that's
I
always a
love
fun one.
games. Jackbox is one we've
Mhm.
gotten ridiculous over. That
Yep.
one can get a little spicy, but I would also love to go. I would love to do the horse-drawn carriage thing on like a snowy day if we could figure that out. I also love like Christmas lights, like going and driving and looking
Yes.
at Christmas lights. There's a couple of bigger display areas around like the Dubuque area, different things
Mhm.
that I would love to do. So those would
Yeah,
all be on my list. Yeah, in addition
yeah,
to everything that you said, the movies,
mhm,
um, yeah,
yeah,
all of it. All of
yeah,
it. I
and
love
I think those are things that with older, and part of it too, and I don't know, you know, for at least with my son, like, to get him to do some things. I think with older kids, maybe it's older teenagers, I don't know, but, like, I feel like sometimes they just don't want to, it's
yeah,
not their thing unless they're really super into the holidays, as well
yeah,
and wanna participate, and so I think I've had to reconcile and, just to be transparent, my husband doesn't really. He does not like to drive around and look at Christmas lights.
no,
He
neither
does
does
not
mine. No,
want to ride probably in a horse-drawn sleigh. I mean,
nope,
I don't know, but like, so there's some things I might just have to do without them,
yeah,
just because I don't want to miss out if they're not going to participate. And again, I think with older kids, I think that's something as parents we do have to kind of reconcile that some of these things we may do without them if they're not
Yeah.
able to be there because they're with other family or they don't want to participate. I
Mhm.
think again, it's holding that kind of loosely and not getting too caught up in everybody must be there, you know?
Yeah, and you know me, I tend to be like, "Why doesn't everybody wanna
Yeah.
do the thing?" And I also know my kids, part of what's comforting for them about gonna be comforting and exciting for them about coming home from the holidays is they can kinda decompress and rest and they're home,
Mhm.
right? They're not my daughter's abroad and my son's gone a couple hours away, and so I need to honor the fact that I am sure in between every day of festivity they're going to want like a day of rest, and they're both homebodies and they both like to rest and are content to be at home,
Mhm.
where I'm a little bit more like, let's go do all the things. The other thing I
Right.
would do if I was physically able is go sledding, but
With
I
your
am
back. I don't
my
know.
doctor has said that's a no-no. So
Right. That's the other thing too as we get older, some things just physically are not in the cards for us anymore, but
he's like, don't do that.
yeah.
um But yeah, I think honoring that not every day, again, that's where just some of the connection, just sitting on the couch,
Mhm.
and dare I say being on your phone, but like sitting on the couch next to each other, having a lazy day of,
Mhm.
I mean, and then you can even throw the movies in there or do whatever.
Right.
Have a day that is more relaxing, I think, for a lot of young adults or even older parents, like older family members who maybe,
Mhm.
our Christmas has changed a lot after we lost our mom. I
Mhm.
feel like, I mean, she
Yeah.
ran Christmas,
Christmas.
and we would just kind of show up and be like, "Hey," and
Right.
it was always like perfectly coordinated and magical, and
Yeah.
she loved it and she was the best at it.
Yeah.
But
That's
even as
strange.
parents, I age too, I think, they may not be up for all the traditions or up for all the things that they were doing. People just need some rest. You don't want to like burn everybody out. So
Right.
I think we're saying all of this as just reminders of ourselves too, not that we're perfect at it, right? You and I would both love to like fly in on Santa's sleigh and, be
Oh,
like,
why not?
and
Yeah.
live in like a magical Christmas
Snow
wonderland
globe.
for the
I
season.
wanna live in a
Yeah,
Hallmark movie.
I know, right? I do. I want to
I
live in a
do watch
Hallmark.
Hallmark movies, don't judge me. Don't
Oh,
judge
they're the
me on
best.
that.
At
I
Christmas, they're the best. Like that's what everybody wants. I know you've seen the Trey Kennedy skit where he's like making fun
yes.
of. I'm like, yeah, but that like
That's what every
I like
person
the
wants is to
little
go back to their
rom-com.
hometown and marry the lumberjack who,
Yeah.
you know,
Successful,
that's just
attorney in New York, but she has to come home to run her grandparents' cute little cottage
right.
and
Their bed and
it's
breakfast that's about to
easy.
go under because some big conglomerate
He
wants to
saves
take it
it.
over. And then she meets the lumberjack from down the lane that
Yeah.
wears the flannel and yeah,
And he
no,
has
I
like
know.
two huge adorable dogs and he's
Right.
runs a charity and he's super hot. And
Right.
so that I love that. There's something about Christmas that like that embodies everything is
Right.
just like wonderful and perfect. It's like this kind of opportunity to like get out of ordinary life too and live in like this fantasy world because Christmas is kind of like that, right? You're
Right.
not gonna like normally decorate your house and cook all these things and trumps around town. And I mean,
No,
but Christmas is an excuse to
lets
do
you kind
that.
of get out of your day to day, your
Yeah.
reality.
Yes.
So I know this isn't necessarily going to be the case for us this year, but I know there's a lot of families where their adult children can't be home for the holidays. Maybe they are, living in another city, can't get back due to work things, or maybe they're serving overseas in the military or something like that. And is there anything that you can think of that how as parents, how can parents stay connected to their older children over the holidays, even from a distance? I mean, when I think about that, I think about the fact that there's FaceTime or there's Zoom or Skype, or there's lots of ways that you can still be connected in that way. I know it's not the same as having them
Sure.
physically with you, but I think there's ways you can stay connected that way. You can send, if you exchange gifts, you can send things ahead of time or purchase experiences for them, that they can do wherever they are living or whatnot. Um, so when you think about, like, let's just say, pretend for a second that, Ashton wasn't coming home. She was going to stay in
Mhm.
Scotland for the holidays. Like I was trying to think of like, how could we keep connected with her during
Yeah.
that time, you know?
Yeah.
while she's not,
Yeah.
if she wasn't going to be here.
If she wasn't, exactly. I've thought about that too, because that could have been a very real possibility for
Mhm.
us. And, literally sound, like you just said, literally being Zooming or FaceTiming or calling that person, that's a beautiful gift we have now with the technology that we can do that. And, we even have joked with her, like putting her, I think there was an episode of Modern Family where Phil was on an iPad and and he drove around,
Yeah.
it was a robot.
Take her
Like
with
her,
us as we go look at lights and show her, look,
she look, yeah,
look at the Christmas
um,
lights.
yeah, because I mean, you
Yeah.
can still see them and hear them. And so FaceTiming, all of that, sending things from home that are meaningful,
Hmm.
um, or sharing a recipe or something that they can make where they are.
Yeah.
Also, again, being comfortable with changing up the date you get together or the
Hmm.
location. So maybe, again, I know the holidays are also hard because people feel very strongly about tradition and ritual, but it's okay to have to change it. So if it meant, like again, when Shuna was in Montana, we went to Montana, totally flipped Christmas on its head, but we had a really great time. You really learn it's more about being together,
Hmm.
less what you do,
Right.
and less where you do it, and even when you do it. If Christmas is a month later or, before, whatever,
Some people
just
even
being,
do their Christmas at Thanksgiving because that's
yeah,
just a different
yeah.
time when some people can be together and others can't. And so some people will even do it early, or if they celebrate another type of holiday, they'll do it, kind of differently too, just to be
Hmm.
flexible,
Yeah.
with people's schedules and not getting so hung up on the day of, or Christmas, like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, or, other holidays fall at different times of the year, having to do it at that time,
Yeah.
on that day or those days when it actually hits. We kind of talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but, when we think about the perfect holidays, we think about what our dream, we talked about what our dream, holiday would look like. How can we release that pressure? And this is where maybe I'm asking this more for myself than anything, but just and focus on what really matters: connection, togetherness, laughter, connection, all of those things, shared memories. Any recommendations for someone listening out there that's like, yeah, my holidays this year aren't going to look like what they have in the past.
Yeah.
And what can I do to help myself just release that expectation or that pressure?
Yeah, I would say two things that help me. They're kind of on two different ends of the spectrum, but if you are a person where I truly enjoy like party planning, being the one to have, host, plan, I love it. It's not, but sometimes then I tend to think that, well, I have to do it myself, or I want to even do it all myself. And I have found, because I think I want things to be a certain way. But I have found the times recently I've had a couple get-togethers where I'm like, no, everybody brings something. Like I don't do everything, and I haven't always done that. And I can honestly say it's not like, oh, I had more, fun at the party where I did all the work and it was perfectly curated to the way. No, it
Mhm.
was actually ended up being nicer when I didn't have all the things I had to do in the long run. So I would say, first of all, delegating out and having other people help you bring things, do things, participate. If you have people who want to help, now maybe you don't, you have to do it all yourself. That's a whole nother conversation. But if
Mhm.
you have people willing to bring things, help do things, it truly makes it more enjoyable and less stressful to have something like that. So take that pressure off yourself that you have to be the one to do all of it, and just ask people to, hey, bring this or bring a snack or bring a game or whatever. I think the other thing, if your holidays are going to look completely different, like you can't get together, people are not in town or whatever, instead of, to me, the times, and I've done this in different capacities, instead of trying to like make something that happened that isn't there, sitting home alone on Christmas, whatever. If I have gone out and been of service to people, take meals to families, served at a homeless shelter, have you ever gone to an animal shelter on Christmas? I mean, I know people are like, they don't know it's Christmas. I'm like, yes, they do. Right? I mean, they do know. I
You would
think
think that they know that it's the
either
holiday,
I feel like
but
they do. I'm like, they know what
mm,
I've brought more animals home on holidays just because I don't want them to be by themselves. So I think kind of flipping it, on its head and doing something not outside of yourself, giving to someone else or being of service to somebody else, then it really is self-fulfilling too. You feel really good, but you cannot expect it is, and it's going to feel terrible if you try to focus on what you're missing, what you don't have, if
Mhm.
Christmas isn't going to look the same at all, maybe just do something totally different. And usually going outside of yourself, giving, serving somebody else, helping somebody else is a really good way to just totally experience joy in a different way. So,
Yeah. Those are great recommendations. Those are excellent recommendations. I support both of those. I think those are wonderful. Yeah, I would just add to that that I think you have to look at what is truly meaningful to you and important to you. And if it's connection and you can't be connected to your loved ones at the holidays, serving others in a volunteer capacity is a great way to do that. There are
mhm,
lots of ways to serve over the holiday season. There's a lot of people in need in our communities, and that's a perfect way if connection is important, you know, to you at the holiday season.
mhm,
And I agree. I just think that when it comes to this time of year, it can hold a lot for people. It can be a time that, you know, things surface that maybe at other times of the year don't. And so I think it's important to, if you're feeling, I don't want to say burdened by this time of year, but if this time of year is hard for you, reach out for help. Talk
mhm.
to a, licensed professional person, therapist, counselor, whatever. Talk to a close friend, confide in someone if you're struggling with this time of year. And it doesn't just have to be, I mean, you could have everyone around you. You could have all of your family in town and doing all the Christmas things, and you can still feel, it can still be a really tough time for people. So reach out. You're not alone. There are lots of other people that experience, you know, hard feelings around the holidays, tough times around the holidays. And so reach out for help and connection to help you through that so that you
Yeah,
can, you know, um, and then of course that's something to do at any time of the year, but I know around the holidays, sometimes those feelings kind of come up
yeah,
extra,
I do,
because you do
100%.
see so many families who are together, or you
Mhm.
see so many people out there. And I think too, again, I have this love hate relationship with social media, but I think at the holidays, you start to see all of the perfectly curated, decorated homes and menus and gifts and all of that. And that can be, unfollow those accounts
Yeah,
that are like,
and
you're
bring
like, oh
you
my God,
joy,
if I
yeah.
have to see one more picture of that woman with her children all dressed in perfectly coordinated outfits and mounds of gifts under the tree, like I'm gonna scream, unfollow.
Right?
You don't have to subject yourself to what other people are doing, in that way. And yeah, because that can, I think, add to some of the stress of that. And but also, if there's something that you enjoy around the holidays that other people don't, that's okay. Do that thing. I'm
Mhm.
starting to see a lot of the stuff out now. Like if you want to set up your tree and it's not even Thanksgiving yet, like go ahead.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Play the
Do
Christmas
it.
music. Do or play the holiday songs or whatever. Like have the
Yes,
holiday food. Like who cares? It doesn't have to be on anyone else's timeline. If that brings you joy, then do
go
it.
for it.
You know,
Yes, I agree. I
go for
agree.
it.
I think that it makes so much sense. Why delay joy? If you can have it, take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Said like a true 7 on the Enneagram.
There you go. At all times,
Yeah.
take joy.
Joy and
Yeah.
happiness always. Yes.
That is true. Yeah. And the holidays have a lot of opportunity for that. So I
Mhm.
love it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm excited for what this holiday, what this season is going to look like. We've had again a lot of changes in our family, where people are and what we're doing. And I'm just excited to, and I think also the cool thing is when it is you're not together as much, it really feels exciting to be back together and really feels like, hey, we should really make this special. And so we've been making our list of things we want to do, and
Yeah.
whatever ends up happening happens, right? Whatever we get to or we don't, or we do or we don't.
Right.
Um But it'll be a great time. I'm really excited for
Yeah,
sure.
me too. Me too. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Megan, thank you for being on. This was a really fun and timely conversation. And hopefully, some of the ideas we shared will help you out there if you're listening and you have family that may or may not be able to join you this holiday season, and gave you some things to think about. But thank you, Megan, for being on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow the show to make sure the latest episode is on your podcast feed each week. I would greatly appreciate a rating and a 5-star review on the podcast platform you're listening on. It helps others to find the show. If there are topics you'd like me to discuss on the show, please email me at themarvelousmiddleagepodcast@gmail.com or direct message me on Instagram at Nicole Stute. Thank you for listening.